you want to just introduce yourself, who you are, and what's your kind of relationship to Leonard Peltier, and where's the case at right now?
Okay. My name is Jean Roach. I'm from the Cheyenne River Sioux tribe. I was raised in Rapid City, and I'm not related to Leonard, but he's more like an uncle. And been trying to fight for his freedom. There was a time period when I wasn't involved, and then I decided that to have a little oversight and people, kind of needed to connect back with him because I see a lot of the disconnection. So I joined the board maybe about 10 years ago, maybe. Yeah. And it's been interesting. Leonard's been suffering a lot. His medical issues are the main thing. He had an aortic aneurysm. And I think that's kind of like a ticking bomb, for his health on top of the diabetes. And everybody knows that when you're in federal prison, you don't get an adequate diet. So he's eating a lot of starches and, bad food. And the worst part is since the pandemic, they've been in almost like 24-hour lockdown. So he's in the elder unit, so he's not with the younger prisoners. But one of the things that happened too, not only with the coronavirus, but is the COVID virus, corona, is if there's a fight in a prison, which I think is policy, then they lock everybody down. And he was kind of like real, to me I felt like he was in the recent, during that time period he lost a lot of weight and his spirits weren't so good. But with the recent revival of really pushing, my part was really pushing tribal support. A lot of people focus on United States government, which is part of it too, but I feel that our people need to be part of his freedom. And as long as you have your people backing you up, then, hopefully things get better. But yes, and then we have all the senators that signed the letter last year, Deb Hovland, and that kind of kicked it off where people are like, oh, wow, this woman, that was a senator at the time.
Congresswoman.
Or congresswoman, yeah, okay. I still don't have all that straight. I skipped that class. Anyway, yeah, so when she wrote the initial letter with, I can't even say his name.
Grijalva's office.
Yeah, him. And I felt like it was really positive, and one of the things that we've always had is European support. Mm-hmm. They're over there always doing something, and I feel like we need more influence on our people. We do have it, but organizing it, where a lot of our people have gone on, a lot of the players of this whole story have left. And seeing Leonard Freedom, I mean, he's almost 80 years old. I mean, geez. And every day something new comes out of a constitutional or a violation. It's every time they release papers, and we're still waiting for the Freedom of Information Act papers to come out. And every time it comes out, it takes people. We have so many people that look through them, and who knows if they miss it. It's really hard to be on top of everything. And we have had several lawyers. We have the recent lawyer, Kevin Sharp, who used to be a federal judge and took up the case, which I thought was really positive. And his support has helped us a lot too. So a combination of tribal, and then we have the congressional and the senators. We're just needing a lot more. I don't know what more information. We have all the evidence. It's all been documented by them. They documented their own, faults. And I think they were just hoping that this would just go away. But now it's become, Leonard symbolizes like injustice, which represents every Indian nation, we're all fighting for something. Um, Basic human rights, to be treated as a human, real down to earth human, um, instead of being attacked based on our beliefs because of our belief system, which protects our earth. And we're totally against all the pipelines. And when I went to Standing Rock, I just wanted to make sure that Leonard had a presence there and connecting with the water protectors because they were political prisoners too. So, and a lot of people, they know about Leonard, but a lot of people think that he's, out or he's not around or he's gone. So I guess really focusing on, I don't know what the next steps are, but they just seem to fall in place.
Why is Leonard Peltier still in prison 45 years later?
Um, it's like an eye for an eye that the feds actually um, want someone to pay for the federal agents that were killed in Pine Ridge, even though they ignored Joe Stunt, who was also murdered on that day. Nobody has been charged. His case never investigated. And all the people that have died during the Reign of Terror, just from all kinds of stuff, run over, shot, the story goes on, and none of their cases have been investigated. So we have like 2 agents versus 60 plus people that they've never ever had the courtesy of even, investigating their cases, and we need some kind of justice. Not only that, but that represents part of Leonard's legacy too, or the American Indian movement. And we've been under attack because the way I see it is, well, I don't know, when people start praying together, like we did in Standing Rock, and when Sitting Bull and them did the ghost dance, or when the American Indian movement brought back the drum and the music and prayers, praying to in a different way than mainstream America. We have our ceremonies that were saved, even though people were beaten and or ceremonies were outlawed, but we survived, and our languages have almost gone. I was raised here in Rapids, so I really wished I knew my language, but I could have probably learned. I just didn't take the time. But now we have to have priorities about all of our speakers that have really been leaving us this last 2 years through COVID. So all of them, through the years since Leonard's been in prison, we've been doing prayer circles. Is basically what we call them. I don't like to use the word protest because it gives a whole different meaning to what we're trying to do. We're praying. And we're not trying to organize on the level of trying to take on the military. That's not us. All we've ever done is try to protect ourselves. And yeah, we had guns back then, but everybody did. When you have the federal government that has actually supported the goon squads, Dick Wilson's goon squads, to kill off the American Indian movement, for the threat of prayer and organization, and the bottom line is they want our resources. They want our, back then, it's uranium. It still is uranium. Gold, of course, with the gold rush, and the gold's back again, in the Black Hills. We have a fight going on now. And they do a different style, excuse me, they do like a fracking style for the gold, which is about as bad as all of it. So as long as our culture and our belief system continues, we're totally against that. And anybody that drinks water should be. And that's one thing about Leonard. His fight has always been to protect the people. It's never been about himself. I've seen the campaign that has been done to discredit him and the AIM members through the COINTELPRO. and it still continues today. One thing I'd like to mention is Anime Aquash. That was his sister. I've seen him protect her on more than one occasion, and I was part of it. Um, so when people try to say that he was questioning her as being an informant, I don't know if where they got the information, but I've seen it firsthand, and a lot of people have. So this devaluation of his image tries to, I mean, is connected to the COINTELPRO attack on him and the people. So as long as he continues, and he will continue to be a symbol of justice, or I mean injustice, hopefully justice, but I don't know. What does it mean? What is justice for us? We don't know, because we've never really experienced it. We're still fighting for our treaty rights where, they've attacked our sacred areas, the Black Hills, in the same time where, as the time period whenever Leonard Peltier and everybody was attacked in Oglala, land was taken from the Oglala Sioux tribe. I think it was a part where they gave it back to the Parks Department. Anyway, the bomb.
Yeah, as a U.S. military for a bombing range.
Yeah, the bombing range. There you go.
Yeah.
Can't catch the words, but I just see it as a continuation. Way back whenever Custer, was at the Battle of Greasy Grass. I had a relative there that he was real young, so my uncle told me, and he survived the fight, and he rode a horseback all the way to Standing Rock from there, and by himself, he survived it, and they called him Chase Alone. Yeah, so, and then we have grandparents that had survived the Wounded Knee Massacre, because I was a Mini-Kosher people, which is my background. So all this is all part of us, Sitting Bull, you have Leonard Peltier. Let's connect the dots. And that's a real reason why the history is trying to be erased from our people, because this continued genocide has never been addressed. And ignoring it, it's not going to go away. And we're just hoping that once Leonard's free, that's a step towards healing, because they made such a big issue about it. Changed the theory, hid evidence, and just manipulated, the whole American people, really. They've stereotyped us as all kinds of words. All kinds of dirty words, that they've talked about us. But deep in our hearts, we know that, we're the ones that carry the love for our nation continued. And that's real strong, because when you have a people that were sent over here that were kind of misfits of society that came, on the boats, and they came to a people that loved each other and cared for each other and even helped them, and ended up being massacred by them because their greed for the land, the greed for the resources. And it still continues, So Leonard represents a lot of different things. And one thing is a real miscarriage of justice, because there is no justice. I mean, why even do the Constitution if they cannot even abide by their own law? To me, it's just like a word, just like the rich people get better treatment. A lot of people understand that kind of fight. And with the police, and people never, like in the 70s, they didn't want to believe us that the feds were, the federal agents were so crooked, threatening people, beating people up, lying, manufacturing evidence, lying to governments. In the very beginning, they started out by lying to the Canadian government, Doesn't somebody care about their character? They don't, I'm glad that most of the agents from that time have passed on because they were ruthless. They hated people. And for what? I don't know, the illusion of democracy, really. You know, there's no democracy. The only uh, life system that was really natural is based on the indigenous nations. So we've been attacked on that basis too. You never know, what their what goes in their mind, by killing our people or attacking us. Keeping Leonard Peltier in there. They tried to teach us a lesson. That's what they're still trying to do. But I think it changed up, because our ceremonies have now expanded to a level that every family has a Sundance. Every family has a prayer area. When back then in the 70s, it was not allowed. And we're very thankful that Crow Dog and the Pipe Keeper, that they survived this genocide. And we have our prayers, we have our songs. There was probably not very many singers back then. Now we have a drum group almost every community. So I see the powerful expansion of our people and their lifeways, their culture. And all at the same time, now we're being attacked first by alcohol, and now we have drugs. So we have a lot of attacks on us. But getting Leonard Peltier out would really mean that we're making some progress as Native people or indigenous nations. But I think we have a long ways to go.
And the way that the FBI has painted Leonard Peltier as this militant, this violent man, you said something to me yesterday that stuck out. You said that most of the people at Jumping Bull were under the age of 18.
Yeah.
That were there. You were there.
Yeah.
At the shootout where the two FBI agents died and Joe Stunts was killed.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to those characterizations of Leonard Peltier and even the American Indian movement as a militant organization that's only committed to violence and.
Yeah, well, they never really prayed with us, for one. When you just attack a people based on your own concepts of what they should be, they see us as a threat. I don't understand why they killed, over 300 people at Wounded Knee. What did that do? It's all about maybe holding grudges, because Custer got sued, whatever. And that's what it was, the remnants of the 7th Cavalry that did that. And there's no explanation of why they even did that, because, old people, women and children, that doesn't make you a hero. Even though they gave them all medals, which they should really take back. If they want to start healing or start looking at us as humans, then maybe they should start trying to make changes. We have a voice. They probably should never give us education, because now we're understanding the concepts of the colonization that we went through. But they'd rather not have us do that. Even in South Dakota, they don't want to do Lakota history or the Ochete Shakoan history, which we never had access to when we were growing up. I remember, like, when I was in 2nd grade here, we all lined up because we're going to do a Thanksgiving play. And I wanted to be a pilgrim, I had these little shoes that had like a buckle. That was the only reason. But and the teacher goes, "No, you're Indian." I thought, "Oh, okay." But I didn't know that. But it was kind of funny though. But so strengthening our youth with our culture and our languages will make them excel, and they all know that. They already knew that. That's why they attacked us. on the levels that they have. But things that go on like the Lakota Nation Invitational, they're just really powerful and excuse me, showcase our youth, Too bad we have to send them to a college that might not retain that, might or might not. Excuse me.
So, just kind of to wrap up, what needs to be done? I mean, because there's been previous attempts to get Peltier released. It came really close under Clinton, and we thought it would be closer under Obama, but
Yeah, what I think I've been hearing is that the retired associations of police are still, butthurt, really. And they hold on to grudges and, they didn't, maybe they sacrificed their own people. Why would they send them into a reservation looking for cowboy boots? Really? There's more to the story than we really know. And alone, or is it? Oh, yeah, they were in one car, unmarked, in a climate that, was basically survival. Everyone had to live by the gun. And they knew that. They ain't dumb, And they sent their agents into an area that they knew was American Indian movement, sympathizers and AIM people staying there. And it just don't make sense, And one of the things, too, is the violation of the treaty of sending somebody, the federal agents, looking for cowboy boots. How does that work? So they continually rewrite the laws to their advantage. They don't even rewrite them. They just do it. And they get away with it, and it still goes on to date. We're still fighting with the police and their attitudes and their way they kill us, because of our color. That's continued on. That is continuing, and that's basically what happened back then. And when they changed the venue with no reason from the first defendants, Butler and Robidoux, where they were acquitted on the basis of self-defense, that the federal agents came in and attacked. Nobody knew who they were. They weren't, if they had a cop car, maybe it would have been different. But they came in an unmarked car carrying weapons, It's just almost like they were sacrificed. I don't know. Someday it might come out. Why were they there? And the person they're looking for didn't even live there. Jimmy Eagle. So yeah, there's a lot of holes in their story too, and that's probably one of the reasons that they keep Leonard in there, because they don't want this whole truth coming out of whatever they did, the manipulation, the undercover people, the whatever they've done. That will come out. It's been coming out. And even though it comes out, they still continue to keep him in there and ignore the evidence. But I know that what I've heard is that they have a lot of, good old boy stuff. So they're keeping Leonard in, not based on laws, because they totally ignore it. We've had a lot of things going on with James Reynolds and and his recent letter apologizing to Leonard.
Hold on 1 second. I don't know what's going on with this thing. I was freaking out.
I know someone's messing with it. Hey.
Let's try to get this.
There you go. More with balance.
I guess the final question that I have is, do you think Leonard Peltier will be released in your lifetime?
I think he will. I'm hoping that, the recent European Parliament president said he was going to make some write a letter to the president. I don't know. I mean, if they don't believe in the Constitution, then I guess he'll stay in there. But if they believe in their own law, he should be out. So basically, they keep continuing to cover it up, and not only that, they've colonized our people too to think that with all the COINTELPRO attacks, that he's a bad person. But I don't know. It's just like somebody has to pay for it. Is the way they're coming from, and it doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. They're going to keep him in there. But if Biden, which we had hoped that Obama, being a constitutional lawyer, was gonna, really do something about it, and I don't know what the story is about that. We haven't heard. I haven't heard. But it's just too much pressure from the FBI because they're covering up for themselves. They don't want to be known. What's it gonna do when people really find out? I know right now people are finding out how much the police force lies and how they abuse their power, and that's a powerful abuse of power that they've done to Native people. So Leonard's not the only one that's sitting in there for injustice. A lot of our people, especially here in South Dakota and North Dakota, have had racist judges like Benson and Bogue, different ones. But yeah, so they'll have to relook at a lot of different. They'll have to admit to a lot of stuff that they've done wrong, and it's a lot. They've been attacking our people for a long time.
And where can people find out more to support Leonard and also to find out more about his case?
We have a website which is whoisleonardpeltier.info, and we have a Facebook page, Twitter accounts, and we have transcripts of the courts and different cases on the website. We keep up to date as much as possible. There's a list of what you can do. You can buy merchandise, We're just needing prayers for him to be released, and people using their voices, at least writing a letter. We need tribal support. We need a lot of things. But I appreciate all the stuff that you did too. It really is powerful.